Oh, and now I think it's Vatsal's presentation. And well, he is new in the group, so I'll ask him to introduce himself first and to present the beautiful work that they're doing in the village design.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much, Carla, for giving me this opportunity. I, of course, am very privileged to be part of this very wonderful and dedicated group. And apologies that I'm only here since last 2 days. So I've tried to put in work, but it's not as amazing as both you, Apol, and Carla. I haven't made such a comprehensive presentation. I just thought I'll show you snippets of what we are doing. Apol, I was at MoMA earlier last fortnight for Cumulus, and I saw the wonderful material library that you all house. And I must commend you for the work that you all are doing because it's incredible. The way the tactility of stages has been captured by your students is actually wonderful. And it is as real as you can see in the pictures. So everything that you showcase, a part of it is what I actually saw in physicality. And I really feel that it's something which is exceptional and you are doing very good work for the nature. And Carla, your work is phenomenal. Thank you so much for such possibilities and opportunities that you're giving your students. Of course, it's sprung from your doctorate, but what you're doing as a start point of Julie, but taking it forward for conscious nature inhabitation, you are doing a phenomenal work. So thank you, and I feel privileged to share the stage with all of you. I am Vatsal Agrawal. I am representing a young design school in New Delhi, India. It is called the Design Village. We recently completed 10 years of our existence, and we are looking into establishing a social impact for design for tomorrow. And as you all understand, India is a very diverse context that we all stay in, and we battle different sort of problems such as the population, the waste, the extra usage of resources that we have at hand. So the presentation that I show you is divided into three parts. One is the introduction of the school, which in itself is housed in a retrofitted building to reuse the existing context. And the other two are the products of what comes out of a day-to-day practice of the pedagogy. And without further ado, I actually represent the International and Executive Affairs Office here. Here at the Design Village, I'm the associate dean, and I love creating new cultural partnerships with institutions. And I'm happy that Carla and I found each other. And I really feel that Piconart could be a platform for me to sort of grow with. So I'll just share my screen. Thank you, Carla. And if at any point all of you have any doubts, please let me know. I'll be very quick and brief so that I can show you. Are you able to see my screen, everyone? So we were
Yes.
housed. This is actually the view of the street where our school is. On Friday evenings, you see that our street converts into this beautiful market like the bazaar that India is known for because we are situated next to the mosque. So this mosque on Friday has prayers where our street changes into this beautiful market of dry fruits, colors, garments, and knickknacks that you find on the streets of the country. And these are good quality products, but very cheaply sold because they are sourced from the actual sources, and the locals who are the inhabitants of the region use this. So during the month of Ramzan, which is the praying month of the Muslims, this is the view of the street every day. So this was captured last year during the festive season of Ramzan, where they fast. So in the evening, they break the fast by having these date palms, which are here. So this is just to give you the sense of how we are situated in the real context of India, where we are not trying to say that we are a design school finding solutions for future, but we're a design school which is actually working on this local context every day because this is where we started. And the building that you see here is actually now modified to house a design school, but initially it used to be a factory which used to produce a substance called katha. Now, most of you will not know what katha is, but actually it is, you all know what is pan. It is a betel nut appetizer which Indians chew on. And you know, the mouths become red and they spit on everywhere. So that red substance was produced in this factory. And later on in early 2000s, this factory was completely shut down because it was violating the pollution norms. Our founder is an architect, and he was trying to find a land to start a school in 2014. We came across this land in 2017 and converted into a design school. So it's been 10 years, and since last 7 years, we're using this school. And this school itself has become the teacher. You see, these old machinery are the machinery which were used as the factory, the cold storage, the processors, the compressors to convert this wood-like substance into paste, which was then consumed. And it is always that we remind our students that the starting of design is a very basic germination of the idea without thinking of a manifestation. And that is why we are a school that encourages multidisciplinary learning, does not restrict the learning to a very specific silo, and the space itself becomes the teacher to operate in how the world should be of tomorrow. To give you a curricular summary, we of course do our undergraduate programs and master's programs. We have the most common fields of design such as fashion, communication, UX and UI, product, space. But what we really focus on is an interdisciplinary pathway, which is called as simply a Bachelor of Design or a Master of Design, where students are encouraged to learn from each other's studios and intersperse their learnings together. They're never forced to restrict themselves to a particular discipline. What we focus on in an 8 semester journey for our students, which is irrespective of how they want to be, is the first year is being very non-committal. So you give them things to do with a lot of rigor, but you don't ask for commitment because all of them, especially after the pandemic, come from a very preconceived notion of how the world exists. You have to break that line of discontent. Hence, they're immersed into rigorous exercises which do not make them commit. Through that, in the second semester, they're made to understand the world around them. When they're understanding the world around them, they're able to start picking up courses from the disciplines to understand the context to stay with. And while they understand the context within, they start understanding the self by the end of the fourth semester. The fifth semester is the most important semester in the journey because that is the last semester they will do full-fledgedly on campus, and they start taking ownerships for the disciplines or the individual manifestos they want to practice as designers of tomorrow. In the sixth semester, they go abroad for the semester exchange, and they are immersed into a pilgrimage of self where they try to take the position. After spending a semester, they might continue another semester abroad to do their final design project, or come back to our school, do the final project, and write a dissertation capstone. So these 8 semesters are a journey of an undergraduate student. The master's student is a more concise version of these 8 semesters, where the learnings of the 2 semesters are inherently absorbed to a singular semester. What I wanted to reach through this is what I sort of do is these trajectories of how the pedagogy is divided into 3 very important parts. Everything that talks about ethnography or learning through theory is baskets. So students are given choice-based programs on various baskets of understanding the world, seeing how positioning works in the world, and actually how things work together when they're placed. So they have options of choosing through different courses, which are in baskets. The task boxes are the courses which they undertake through the industry. So every semester, live projects are given to the students where they work with the industry from the brief they get. For example, if a hospital has asked them to design a, a recreating system for an oncology laboratory, they're not going to find solution in space design. Students from fashion, UX, UI, space, transportation will all work together to develop a system which can make the lives of both the people who are suffering from cancer and the people who are getting affected by cancer because of the patient in that same environment. So that is the co-curricular learning which is encouraged through Taskbox. What I'm going to show you examples of today is the third part, which is villaging. It is an exercise which we do to develop the community of designers of today. And as the design village, we develop villagers of tomorrow who function as a community of a responsible circular economy. So the 2 projects which I will share with you now are based on this curricular journey of villaging, which is assessed through the 4 pillars of what we stand for: courage for the self, but also for the community to stand firm on the decision they've taken, to not dwindle with the ulterior factors. Perseverance to actually fail, give up, but also get up from the failures to actually realize the potential that lies in the failures. Awareness of the community as a whole to not function as isolation, but as a collective, and compassion to think beyond self, to step into others' shoes, but also pick them up and walk with them to achieve what is truly achievable. So these are the four pillars with which we gauge every project that a student does, not necessarily in form of grades and numerics, but in terms of how they work. To give you a perspective of how a villaging sort of works, it is a work between awareness, perseverance, compassion, and courage, between inspiration and confrontation, community building, working inside out and outside in, and activation and elaboration. And together, all these sort of come together as overlaps between the semesters and give you a strong culture, community, society, and self. Examples of this is shown in the slide that I'll show you. Now, these students were taken to this village called Dugadda in Uttar Pradesh, which is a northern state of India. And this was right after there were floods and flash floods in this region. So the locals had built a bridge which was made of wood, but it sort of got washed away. And when our students stay with the locals start trusting them, they have to start working as a team. So then they are given tasks every year, which is a different task which the village needs at that point. During this time, the students were asked to collect stones of different sizes and build a temporary stone bridge across the rivulet that you see. So then they had to actually exercise each other as a group, understand each other's strength. It was just not about lifting weights of the rocks and placing them together. It was about strategizing, seeing how we can work as teams. And what they did was analyze each other's strengths, gauge the shapes and angulars of each and every rock size, and transported them to each other's concurrently so that they could find the actual balance. Of course, it meant that they had to, this was also in the low tide season, so the pressure of water was not very high. Hence, they were able to build this bridge with a lot of convenience, of course. And with all safety norms in place, we were able to transport these smaller pieces and shift them on pulleys, which were manually made. And then finally, you could see that with the flow, they were able to prevent water. So what did this did was, before the next season's high tide, they were able to cross the harvest of the season from A point to B point by just crossing by the rock. So this sort of, I understand it's a very temporary structure that the students made, and it might go away with nature. But what it told them was the aspect of working as a team, the aspect of us designers not being privileged, being coming from the centrifugal point of creating something for tomorrow, and understanding the impermanence of nature and how things keep changing. And that is something which we always try to do in every semester through different activities. Whether they have to work in hospices, whether they have to mend the furniture of the school, they work as a community of socially understanding how the world around them works. The second project is the project which my student got to showcase at Salone Satellite in Salone del Mobile. But what I would like to actually focus here is the fact that he worked with these women from Gujarat and Haryana. These are two very extreme states in India where a lot of nomadic women are not allowed to work. They are a patriarchal society, and men only go and earn the living and come back. So this student, he is a fashion and textile student who graduated 4 years ago from our school. But when he came to the school, he wanted to open his own line of clothing. But by the time he finished the course, he actually started working with these women, developing a technique of reusing waste. So what you see here in this picture, this woman is segregating the selvages of different fabrics in different colors, weights, finishes, and that is itself a process. So his mother and grandmother used to do this at home on the rooftop, hiding from the men of the home so that they could do this in the daylight when men are not at home. And then they used to make these as pails of fabric and sell off. So he started working at home, developing a small loom of wood and using a spindle to start weaving these fabrics as possible yarns. And later he developed this weaving technique where he was able to produce the rug that you saw in the previous picture, because his idea was how can he give employment to these 70, 80 women who are part of this village. And this is what we try to do in our school, where we are trying to tell a student that yes, you can go and make a garment, no problem. But understand, why do you even need that garment again? Can it not be about rethinking, readjusting your expectations and aspirations as a designer for tomorrow? So the aim is that we continue this life of design through being very responsible and trying to gauge and impact what we can create for tomorrow. So I will stop there because I just prepared these few slides for today, but I'm happy to address any more questions. And if any one of you would like more details, I could email them to Carla as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Vatsal, so much. Those are so beautiful, so beautiful.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. The second one is beautiful because it's like I think that everything that Piconato wants to be. But I'll tell you, the first one I'm in love with it because it's working with nature, you know, for a community and for territory. It's so beautiful. It's marvelous work. Thank you so much. And how you structure.
Thank you so much for giving the opportunity.
So how do you structure the university and the faculties and the courses, you know, and the main topics that you address? They're really, really inspiring. Thank you. Does anyone has a question for him?
Well, I don't have a question. Actually, I have also a comment. I was really impressed.
Yes,
I mean, congratulations. It's a tremendous work, and
you,
to do something from the start is huge, because you need to connect words which are so different, you know, the modernity, which it's so complex and so full of information, and the children needs to be how to say, they need to be able to be part of it, you know. And but also you as a designer and the person of culture, you know, you want them to be close to nature and crafts, and it's hard. So I believe you did a great job, and I'm very happy to see that you have the 4 columns. I just love them, you know, because I believe as well that in order to create a good designer, you need to create a great person. So the virtues of a person are always higher than a professional. So when you put them together, I believe it's a success formula. So congratulations.
Thank you so much, Carla. That really means a lot. Thank you for